This is so messy. I need to fix this. I don't know what I was doing. This whole section is messy. Wait, no, I thought for sure that was gonna go there. I was correct to be overwhelmed by this section. Looking at all of this is so overwhelming. Hi everyone. We have made it to part 2 of the 8,000 piece puzzle. This puzzle is called 2,000 Years. It's released by the company Hey, and the artwork is by Marino Degano. So if you missed part 1, I spent day 1 just sorting. Then I spent day 2 on this black middle section, the red, and the sky. On day 3, I started doing the inside border and I rearranged everything on the board. And then on day 4, I finished the entire border. So this is where we're at, 21 hours and 34 minutes into it. So today is day 5, and it's actually gonna be another sorting day, because in the last video, I already solved most of what I sorted out in that first sort. So let's look at what we have left. I have this tray with the pieces that I thought would be the corner illustrations, but as I said, I don't think these are sorted very well. Then we have a tray of blue water pieces. And then the only other trays are the white labels and the miscellaneous pieces. And this is just way too much to try to work with. Like, you can't even get to the pieces down at the bottom. I remember years ago, I was working on this sewing project with someone who really knew what they were doing, unlike me. And I made a comment to them like, oh wow, sewing is mostly ironing. Well, giant puzzles are mostly sorting. Okay, that sort took 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it's looking a little crazy, but I swear I have a system. So I started up here by basically cutting in half all of the white label pieces. And so these are the ones that basically go straight across. And then these are the ones that are on a diagonal or on a curve. Like, you can see in the whole picture that it's pretty much half and half, which ones are perfectly straight and then which ones are over on the sides on a curve. And so similarly, out of the miscellaneous box, I pulled all of the pieces with the dividing line that's straight up and down, and then also the ones that have the dividing line on a diagonal. In here we have what's left of the miscellaneous box, which is still quite a lot of pieces, but not quite as many as we used to have. Here we have all of the year numbers, and so after I get the labels in place, I feel like I can fill all of those in. And they should be pretty easy because they literally just go in order. Down here, these will be really fast to put in. These are pieces that connect down here on the edge. This is still the leftover missorted pieces from earlier, so I'll just keep referring back and grabbing them as I need them. Over here, I added some more pieces to the water pieces. So I feel like now I'm in good shape to start putting all these together. And same thing up here, you can see this new pile of pieces of all of the corner illustrations. So I think now that I was much more thorough trying to pull all of them, I think I will be able to get those mostly put together. So I think those 2 hours of sorting are really gonna help, but I actually think I'm done for the day. Sorting always takes it out of me. So even though I only put in 2 hours and 15 minutes, that's gonna be it for day 5. But on day 6, I should be able to actually put in a whole lot of pieces. All right, 3 hours later, and these corners are looking so much more solid. So down here, you can see this is Athens in 800 BC. This was probably my favorite corner to do. I think this one was really fun. Then down in this corner, we have the birth of Jesus. We will once I finish filling in these pieces. Then down here, we have 100,000 BC, we have the Neanderthals. And then down here, we have ancient Egypt. So, there's a few holes that haven't quite been filled in, but we have the main structure of it. I think it's looking pretty good. And so this was my goal for this morning. I wanted to get all of these pieces down to one single layer, and I did that. Now, some of these might still fit into what I have left, but I didn't want to keep just staring at it for so long when a lot of those missing pieces are probably still in the miscellaneous box, even though I've been through it twice now. So that's where I'm gonna leave the corners for now. I probably won't finish them until the end of the puzzle when I'm diving back into the miscellaneous box. For now, I'm finally gonna venture into the middle of the puzzle, and I think I'm gonna start working on the straight areas of the timeline labels. Now, each one has different text on it, but it's not the most immediately legible text. So I really don't know how easy or hard this is going to be. We're all going to find out together. I'm going to spend all afternoon on this and we'll see how far I manage to get. But I think this is a good time to stop for lunch. So something you might not think about with a giant puzzle is just how physical it is, especially now that I have it spread out all over the table. I really am doing a lot of stretching and leaning and getting up and walking around the table. It's both a mental and a physical challenge, and so you need to prepare your body for it. And so I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Factor. They've been such a great supporter of this channel. So they're a meal delivery service where you get the meals sent fully cooked to your front door. All it takes is a few minutes in the microwave and you're ready to eat. Now, something you might not know about these giant puzzles is that one of my favorite parts is just standing and looking at them and making a plan for what to do next. Literally any time that I have something in the microwave, I'm over here just looking at the puzzle. So I was actually using Factor before they started sponsoring this channel, and I love that it's quick and easy, and I also love that you can choose from a big variety of meals. Right now, they're doubling the size of their menu, so they have a whole bunch of new options, and it is so nice when my body is tired and my brain is tired and I just want to eat something with protein and vegetables and, refuel for my next giant puzzle session. It really does take all of the work out of meal planning. It is so easy to just grab a meal from the fridge and know exactly what and how much of it you're eating. So if you want to try it, you can go to factor75.com or click the link right down below and use code PuzzlesFB50 to get 50% off plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code PuzzlesFB50 at factor75.com for 50% off plus free breakfast for 1 year. Okay, so now let's get back to the puzzle. We're in the middle of day 6, and I'm finally gonna get started on those labels. Okay, it is day 7 of the 8,000 piece puzzle. Now, when I asked people to predict how long they thought this was going to take me, some people started using previous times from previous giant puzzles that I've done to try to map out like how long this one was going to take. And I'm worried what I did yesterday might have thrown that off a little, because this section was so disorganized and messy and all over the place. It was so inefficient. I don't know what I was doing. So let me bring you in closer. Let me show you what we've got going on over here. The end of day 6, I swear, like, I don't know if you can tell from the time lapse, it was some of the messiest puzzling I think I've ever done. Okay, so here's how it's looking. It actually does look very pretty, I think, with all these different colors going on and the straight lines, but it was not very efficient getting here. So the first thing, which I think I did pretty well, is I filled in the top half of this bottom timeline, so that's looking really solid now. But it took me way too long to realize that I needed to cut all of these pieces in half and just work on the top half of the labels at the beginning. Because you can see the bottom of each of these panels has different stuff going on. So there's lots of different, textures to pick out. But then the top of pretty much every single panel looks the same. So those pieces ended up here. That's what I'm going to work on today. But for way too long, I just had all of these like top and bottom half pieces all mixed together. And then as I was pulling out the top half pieces, I wasn't separating by ins versus outs. And so it was just all over the place. Also here, this is so messy. I need to fix this. So these pieces are the ones with just a little bit of the white labels on them. But this pile was getting so big and I wanted to see like what was going on in here, if I needed any of these pieces. So I started moving them to this tray, but then I ran out of space on this tray. So all of these pieces and all of these pieces are exactly the same, but they're in 2 different places. So like I just should not have things like that. Everything that's in the same pile should all be in one place. Over here though, you can see all the water pieces, and again, a lot of these are these straight label pieces, so I've been getting those together, and I think that's looking pretty good. At some point, these are going to connect to whatever I have going on over here. Oh, and this has just been floating around underneath all of these trays, but these pieces are also going to connect to everything that I've been working on. So this morning's goal is to get the bottom half of all of these labels in place, from all of these pieces, which aren't that many pieces to work off of, so I think it should be okay. Oh, but actually the first thing I need to do is consult the picture and figure out which ones actually connect over here on this half of the border, because I don't want to be looking for all of these pieces, of these street label pieces, and then they're actually over here on the border. Did that make any sense? My explanation might have also been messy. This whole section is messy. Oh, but I also did want to say that while I am looking at the picture to sort of get things in order and when I need to, I am trying to do this without consulting the picture for every single piece. Like, I am still trying to figure some things out on my own. So again, that might slow down my time from what some people might be expecting. Maybe I could do it a little faster if I was just following along with the picture for every single thing. All right, I just stopped for a quick lunch break. I've been working on this all morning, and I think that's looking really solid. Pretty soon, I'm gonna have to start consulting the picture to, get them in order and get them organized on the board. I don't think I'm quite there yet. I think I'm gonna do one more session, I guess, of trying to get all the rest of these attached and get the lines a little bit longer. But so far this morning, I really haven't been looking at the picture at all. It's been kind of hidden under all the trays. So this has been really fun to just have to, I don't know, figure it out with context clues from the pieces. Okay, I just did even more sorting. So I pulled out all of the pieces that just have little bits of these white labels on them. And so I laid them all out and shape sorted them. So all of these are going to be coming up from the bottom, which you can tell because it has this orange outline. Meanwhile, these pieces have little bits of the white labels, but they're coming down from the top. Over here, I started putting together the ones that have 2 lines of text because I had a bunch of them left and they weren't fitting anywhere in here. So I was like, they must just connect to each other. And so a lot of them did. And so if I move this back, look at how good that's looking. So I'm still not looking at the picture yet today, but pretty soon I am just gonna start referencing that and start moving these all around the board. That's gonna happen before the end of the day. This one though, I haven't been able to find a bottom edge for it. So let's see if it goes over on the other side. Wait, no, I thought for sure that was gonna go there. This one? No? Okay, wait. I think I was wrong. Okay, never mind. And we're coming back. All right, well, I'll figure that out. That was a failed experiment. Oh my gosh, I did it! These are looking so good. And I'm really proud of myself for doing all of that without looking at the picture. But I think we've reached the point where I have to look at the picture to get them in order vertically and then move them to where they're gonna be on the board. So I'm gonna get everything extra off the table and then try to get these in place. Okay, it is day 8 of the 8,000 piece puzzle. Now, yesterday, you might not have been expecting me to just stop looking at the picture for almost an entire day, and I think what I'm gonna do today, you also might not be expecting. To quote Lorelai Gilmore, "When you think I'm gonna zig, I'll zag, and then when you think I'm gonna zag, I will zag, just to throw you off for the next time when I might zig again." So what you might be expecting me to do, what the next logical step might be, would be to continue the white labels all the way around the curves. But here's the thing. I'm really scared of these curves. Anytime you have like the same image on a straight line and then also on a curve, the curve is always going to be a lot harder. So here's what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to grab 2 trays. I'm going to grab all of the years, and I'm going to grab all of the straight dividing lines. And I'm going to try to use those to really build out the grids between these straight sections so I can really lock these lines into place. All right, let's see how this goes. I think this is a good plan. If it's not a good plan, we can always abandon and do something else. I think this will be a good plan. Okay, so here's how I sorted them. I may have over-sorted this a little bit, but here you can see the ones that have the really strong dividing lines between them. And then here you can see the ones where a lot of them just have little bits of the years on them. So these are a little harder to tell if they're straight or diagonal. So I'm probably not gonna finish this entire tray today, but it's good to have them just as possibilities in case I need them. Look at that, 10, 20, 30, 40. We're literally just going in order. This is so satisfying. Okay, so that was an hour and a half. It's a little slower going than I thought, but I wanted to show you guys how I organized this tray because these are all of the dividing lines. And originally I had them all mixed up together and I just couldn't see anything. I wasn't getting any pieces. So eventually I was like, I need to sort this out again. So I arranged all of the lines to be vertical and then I shape sorted based on that. Well, up here I have all of the non-standard pieces because there aren't that many of them, so I just left them all together. Over here, I have pieces that are on a corner, so they have the line on multiple sides. Up here, I have the pieces where the line is right on the edge and is being cut off. And then up here, I have the pieces that just have a little bit right here on, the out. And so when all of these were mixed in, that was creating so much visual clutter. So I really just needed to reorganize everything, get it all lined up properly. And then at the very end of that time lapse, I actually did get a bunch of new pieces in. So at this point, I'm gonna move over to the other side of the table because I think there's a bunch of easy pieces that I can get in over there. And so then once I come back to this side, there's gonna, again, be less visual clutter, less choices, so I can finish filling in all of these lines. Guys, I just put in so many pieces. This was such a good idea. This is looking so good. I'm having such a great time today. This part has been really fun. Now that I got the pieces organized, it's been really fun. Oh my gosh. Do you want to know what I just did? Okay, the entire puzzle, you can now draw a line of finished pieces all the way from one side of the puzzle to the other side of the puzzle. That is such a milestone for a giant puzzle. I think that's a good place to leave it for today. That was actually a lot easier and faster than I thought it would be. When I finished all of that, I would have sworn that it was like 4:30 p.m. And then I looked at the clock and it was 2:30. So that didn't take nearly as long as I thought. But it's looking so good and so solid. And even down here, you can see I started getting things attached. Some of these pieces I did put in off camera. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I was just rearranging things on the board and I was just putting in a few pieces. And then a few turned into a few more, and then a few more. But over on the board, I combined all of the leftover white label pieces and year pieces and straight connecting line pieces. There really aren't that many left. They all fit on the one board. But the thing is, some of them are on a very slight angle. And when I was sorting things out, I wasn't really sure where to put the ones that are only on a slight angle. So I think a lot of them ended up with all of the, fully diagonal pieces. So I think I'm going to do one more day of puzzling for this video. Tomorrow, I'm just going to grab the curved label pieces. I'm just going to spread them out. I'm just going to see what we have. I'm just going to begin starting to make a strategy. But I think for today, I'm really happy with this progress. This is looking so good. Okay, I just did another hour and 15 minutes of sorting, and I was correct to be overwhelmed by this section because looking at all of this is so overwhelming. So I think it's becoming a theme for this puzzle to just go ahead and shape sort right from the beginning. So these are all of the non-standard piece shapes. With these, I just tried to keep the illustration right at the top of each piece. But beyond that, I didn't worry about separating the orientation because a lot of these, I'm not totally sure which way they're gonna go in the puzzle, like depending on if the text is going that way or on that angle or on that angle or on that angle. And then over here, we have all of the standard shaped diagonal label pieces. So down here, these are the ones that have text on them. And then up here, we just have little bits of the white. Again, I tried to keep the illustration on top and the label on the bottom. Although for some of these, when they're at like a full 45-degree angle, it was kind of arbitrary which pile they got put in and I don't know which way I oriented them. And then up here, I just have a few pieces that are mostly white that I really just can't tell which way they're gonna go. But luckily with text, I mean, you do have the orientation right from the beginning. Text pieces are very much like edge pieces in that way. Oh, and I don't think I said, so all of these are the ones that are gonna be on the top half of all of the labels. So they're going right up against the illustration. And then over here, I separated out right from the beginning all the ones that are going to be on the bottom half. This is the mistake that I made with the straight labels. This time I just got all of these out of there right from the beginning. So I got started a little bit later in the day today, so I'm not going to try to get this entire section done. Instead, I'm just going to try to work on what I already have put together and try to get this outer label line, try to get the top half put onto all of these. And that should get rid of a lot of these pieces for when I'm then just free building the ones in the middle. All right, so that's where I'm gonna leave it for this video. But at the end of day 9, I hit another big milestone. Every single piece that's on the board right now is geographically correct. There are no more just random floating pieces. And I know that it might look like there's still quite a lot to go, but in this video, I was doing a lot of sorting and organizing and laying pieces out. And so now that all of that work is done, I think the pieces are gonna go in a lot more quickly. I honestly think it might just be 5 or 6 more days of puzzling, because what do we have left? It's probably going to be probably 2 days to finish all of the curved labels, then 1 day to do all of the dividing lines between them, and then 2 or 3 days to do all of the little illustrations, and then that's it. It'll be done. So I'm finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're getting there. Oh, and one more thing. At the end of the last video, when I had first finished the edge, I did actually count all of the edge pieces. And so I can confirm that this actually is exactly 8,000 pieces. And so, counting how many pieces I've put in so far, the current number is 4,447. We're officially past the halfway point. So, moving on to the data, I'm currently 44 hours and 10 minutes into it. And so here you can see how that breaks down, how many hours I put in each day. Again, I'm not doing those super long days with this one. The longest day that I've had so far is 6 hours and 20 minutes, which in the past I would have considered a really short day, but I think that's about all the data for now. I am collecting more data about the whole puzzle, but I feel like it'll be more interesting to look at once the entire thing is done, so I'm gonna hold off on that until the end of the next video. In the meantime, feel free to let me know down in the comments your updated guess for how long you think it's going to take me. And I'll give 2 shout outs in the final video. I'll do one from each comment section. Your code word for the comments will be diagonal. And I think that's it for today. So make sure to come back next time to see me finish it up.